Simple fade in effect. Oh, I love this one. I'm going to just run the setup here just by running this. And in my plugins, I'm going to simple fade in effect. Okay, we're gonna do that. Okay, I need a new post, so we're gonna go simple fade in effect. Simple fade in effect. Save draft. Oh, actually, I'm gonna publish it. Okay, so when that's finished running, that's installing. Okay, so let's we're gonna cd into simple fade effect npm start. Okay, all right, let's take a look. So we're running. Okay, so registering the files to be loaded. So this is doing a lot of what we were doing before. I'm going to just add this into the main plugin file. Hide that main plugin file. Not much going on there. So again, this is just enqueuing stuff. So we're enqueuing WP enqueue scripts. We're registering our custom JS script, right? We're gonna add some styles. We're gonna add some JS. We're gonna have some fun stuff. Again, we're checking for the file before we load these things. All that fun stuff again. Pretty straightforward. Oh, let me back up. This is registering the script. So what this means is, like, if you call WP enqueue script, it registers and enqueues it for you. But you can actually do the registering part alone and then handle it later and queue it later. And that's what we're doing here. So we're registering the script and we're registering a style. And there's a reason why we're doing that. And we will find out momentarily. So we only want to enqueue them when the blocks that we're working with are on the page, right? Because we don't want the JavaScript and the CSS loading every time on every page, because that's bad for performance. We only want them when the block that is using them gets loaded. So what we're going to do is we're going to use render block or render block name filters to do this. We're going to add a new hook called we're going to add a new filter to render block, and it's going to enqueue. It's going to do all of this. I should have just grabbed this all at once. I'll just show you. Okay, so what this is going to do is this is going to enqueue file for core blocks. So enqueue the same script for more than one block type. So what we want to check for is the block that's being displayed. Is there a block is the cover block or the image block there? Is it like, are we rendering either one of these blocks? And if we are, we're going to append the fader class to the block wrapper. So the CSS has a little class in here called fader, and that's going to do some things. So that's just going to add the CSS to it. So we're using the HTML tag processor to do that. This thing is so fun. So all we have to do is grab the tag. We're going to take the block content that is being rendered. We're checking, is this one of these two blocks? If it is, we're going to basically create I can call this anything, but I've called the tag. We're going to go tag processor. We're going to get the next tag, which would be sort of the root tag. And we're going to add a class to it called fader. We're going to get the new block content by updating the HTML from the HTML tag processor. Then we're going to enqueue the two scripts that we already registered, because we only want these being enqueued if it's being used, and it's being used if we're using the fader. And then we're going to return block content. So if this if statement if this returns false, it's just going to return the block content as is. If it is true, it's going to generate new block content, and then it's going to return that. Okay, so that's what all that's doing, right? So there's another way of doing this. You can use dedicated block filters. So instead of doing all this logic check in here, the other thing that you could do is you could use render block and then block name. So it's render block _ block name for each one of these. So depending on what you're doing, how lazy you feel like being, you can do it this way. This would be exactly the same. You just wouldn't need to have the if statement in there. So I'm just going to leave this, but that's another way of doing it. You also have to know the block name. Well, you have to know the block name in this case anyways, but yeah. And then the JavaScript is just doing some like intersection observer stuff. And so what should happen here is if I put either one of these posts, if I do an image block, media library, I'm gonna put that in there. I'm gonna actually grab a bunch of content. I'm gonna put it in above that. All right, I'm just gonna do a bunch of this just so it's off the page. And if I go look at this now, as I scroll in, we should get a little, we'll get a little fade in action, right? And it should, I think it will work on the same cover block too. All right, so if we insert like a cover block in here and just give it a little thing like that, we should get, it fading in as it comes in. So that's it. I mean, it's a nice little simple thing, but it's a really great example of using the, like how, so this is the hardest part of the code is right here. It's just doing this. And then, so there's some CSS stuff in here as well. So it's pretty straightforward, but what this really demonstrates is just how easy it is to use the tag processor to add things and remove things. It's pretty cool stuff. That's a really, really quick one. Yeah. Cool. And we're done.